Hello, welcome to our live stream. Today we are going to be doing the judges concert. First of all, SCM, Southern California Marimba, is a nonprofit organization that supports marimba artists through many different ways, through competitions, concerts, and other educational programs.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we just wanted to assure everyone that all the people who are in this room right now have been fully vaccinated. We hope that everyone who is watching also gets their vaccine shots and to wear their masks when we're outdoors, but most importantly to stay safe. We would also like to mention that we have some special merchandise that we just started recently. And we have, in case you want to get your own shirt or more masks, or maybe I need a clock. If you are interested, please visit our website at redbubble.com, and your proceeds will go towards our competition and supporting our future events.
Yeah, we will be having 3 of our judges performing today very soon. Right after the performance, we will also have an interview where the judges will be answering questions, and after that there will be announcement. The judges will be announcing the finalists.
And we want to say thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Our sponsors are Marimba One, Weiss Music, Pearl, Adams, Salyers Percussion, Encore Mallets, Zildjian, Vic Firth, Paiste, Remo, Sabian, and Yamaha. Thank you so much for your support. We could not have done this competition without you. And we have a special message from one of our sponsors, Weiss. They have a special Liberty bag on sale, and I wish I had this bag as a student, and it looks very useful for all of your needs. Thank you so much, Weiss, for making a financial contribution towards this competition. And if you're interested, please check out their website at steveweissmusic.com. Cool. And I think it's time to introduce Yamaha artist Naoko Takada. She's the first one up, and also we would like to thank Yamaha for making a financial contribution and supporting Naoko to be a part of this competition.
Yeah, Naoko is based in LA. She teaches at USC, University of Southern California, my alma mater. And she won and judged many prestigious competitions for over 20 years in Asia, Europe, US, and all over the world.
Please enjoy Naoko's performance.
Thank you so much for coming to my concert. I'm Naoko Takada. Since the pandemic hit us, the world has changed. I feel many people face numerous changes we have never encountered before or ever have imagined. We can easily let the negativities affect us, but I refuse to regret in 10 years, looking back at what I could have done instead. We do not have much control over how the pandemic goes. However, we can control what we focus on. I choose to learn and grow as a person. And I decide to become a better musician and believe in the power of music. The first music I will play is called As Her Love Fades by 𝐏𝐫𝐸𝐿𝐻. This piece uses a rare combination of melancholic melody with a determined grooving that is mesmerizing. Thank you so much for watching. Bach Zarlamande in E minor from the Lute Suite is undoubtedly the music I have taught the most during my teaching career. For auditions, many of the Bach movements often get played without any repeats. However, I'm most intrigued with the repeats, as they give me the freedom to express myself. It's a luxury and surreal experience. The next two pieces are my own compositions. The first is called The Reason, was composed during the pandemic, about one's profound urge to find meaning in life. I was also inspired by how we as people can adapt and persevere. The second piece, entitled Memories, evolved from a series of improvisations. I was thinking about how our memories can change over time, and how another person's perspective can be completely different from your own. Finally, the last piece is Shadow Box by Dara O'Neill. It is driven by a lively rhythmic band that provides a fun, spirited groove throughout. I hope you enjoy.
Yay!
Wow, that was beautiful and so elegant. Great job. Thank you very much, Naoko. Did you know that you were the very first professional marimba artist that I ever went to a concert? Yeah, that was so cool.
Me too, actually. Naoko was the first marimba artist I've ever seen in real life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so amazing. Thank you so much, Naoko, for a beautiful performance. And at this time, we want to remind everyone we are doing a fundraiser. We're just raising funds so that we can support our judges and just all the costs that go into making this competition possible. And I know we did like a boba promotion earlier this week. So if you're thinking about, getting your coffee or your boba tomorrow morning and instead might be able to spare $5 or $10, any amount would help us greatly. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
And actually, there's another way to support SCM. Yeah, another way is to purchase any of the merchandise that is in our Redbubble website. As you can see, there's about 40 different products, anything ranging from t-shirts, tank tops, pillows, bags, masks, clocks. There's a lot on there, so you can please check out that website.
Thank you, Eric, for making all the designs.
Thank you.
I think we're ready. We are ready for our next judge. Our judge is Pearl Adams artist Joe Moore, and we have some good news. He has recently been appointed in a new teaching position at the University of Louisiana Monroe. So congratulations! Joe will start teaching there in the fall. So, and also, Joe is an amazing performer, and not only just a performer, but also a prolific composer. And we just learned this yesterday when we had our master classes with the judges and participants. But Joe has actually been composing since, I believe, middle or high school.
Oh, wow.
And since he just kept composing, and then he studied in composition and, wrote for the marimba, I think like 50 pieces, and kept writing for other instruments. And now he has like over 200 pieces. A lot of pieces. So we are very honored and very lucky to have you for this year's competition. And yeah, without further ado, please enjoy Joe's compositions and performances. on beautiful performances. And I especially love the video editing of the first piece, Tabula Rasa, and the last piece with the beautiful electronic.
Yeah, that was
overall, very mesmerizing.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, so thank you so much more for Joe for performing and showing your wonderful compositions. We have a special sale going on at Marimba One. We just want to say really quick, thank you so much to Marimba One for supporting all of our programs since the very beginning and for providing so much support to this year's competition. The special sale is for their 5-octave marimbas, so if you were ever interested in purchasing one of these instruments, now is the chance. There's a limited number of these instruments available, and all the proceeds, a portion of the proceeds will go towards directly supporting our marimba competition. So if you are interested in this, feel free to just directly message us on social media or send us an email at inspire@scmarimba.org. Okay, I think it is time for our final judge, Marimba One artist, Lynn Vartan.
Yay! And Dr. Lynn Vartan. She is the director of percussion at Southern Utah University, which is about 400 miles away from us. She has worked with many notable artists such as Chinnery Ung, William Kraft, Grammy Award-winning group Southern West Chamber Music, and numerous symphonies and orchestras. I had a great opportunity back in college when I was able to study with Dr. Lynn Vartan, and she is a phenomenal educator. It is such a pleasure. So let's go ahead and hear her performance.
Hi everyone. The piece you're about to hear is called Falling Embers, and it's by 𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐿. It was written in 2020, and it was one of the first pieces I heard during the pandemic when I really started listening to music in that time. She wrote it as a meditation about fire, particularly about the 2019 Australian fires, and I just fell in love with it. The great thing about the video that you're going to see is it's actually a collaboration between dance and music. Collaboration is something that I'm really passionate about, and the way our art forms can cross-pollinate and make something even more magical is something that I really believe in and really represents who I am. So this is in collaboration with dancers from our SUU, Southern Utah University Dance Department, with me performing, and the piece is Falling Embers. Enjoy! This is my performance of Wavelengths by one of our very own judging faculty, Joe Moore. Yay! One of the things that's really important to me that music does is it's a great communicator, and it's just such an amazing way to get to know people and to share. So being on this panel with Joe, I really wanted to explore his music and his compositional voice, and I fell in love with Wavelengths. Wavelengths is a solo crotale piece. Yes, solo crotales, and it's a single line. It is such simplicity and such beauty that I just really wanted to see what I could do with it. My take on this piece is it's got this sort of really peaceful, beautiful start to it, which is maybe in a way our life before the pandemic. And then all of these different things that happened in the last couple of years, you know, with the pandemic and the strife that we hear in our culture and everything that's going on, there's a bit of that anger and frustration that comes into it. The piece has a real slow burn in the middle of it, and it just grows in this intensity that is just really almost even scary in a way, you know, this frustration and this fear that goes into it that I think represents some of the things we've all experienced in the last couple years. And then the melody comes back. And through that last melody, I think of a transformation back to hope, that there is hope for the future, there is hope for peace, and there is hope for just kind of happiness and joy for everyone again. Enjoy Wavelengths by Joe Moore. This is my performance of Machine Shop. Machine Shop is a piece written by Dan Sonnenberg, and it came to be a couple years ago. I was working with Dan on another recording project, and we were just totally getting into how much we loved rock and pop, and how it's really a challenge to kind of blend those styles with classical instruments and classical music. So I commissioned this piece from him, and he wrote it for me, and it is for marimba and electric guitars. The electric guitars are all recorded and played by a live person and then processed multiple times through all different kinds of processes that make it sound like 12 players at once. And so it's this real duet between marimba and electric guitar, which I don't think there's that many of, but it sort of pays homage to our passion for rock. It's got a little bit of like Quentin Tarantino westerns in it, and it's just a total wild ride. I think it's a really fun piece. I think it represents something that we don't really have in the repertoire, and I'm really interested in expanding our repertoire and really making music that is fun to listen to and can really maybe cross some of those boundaries. So this is Machine Shop by Dan Sonnenberg.
Wow, congratulations, Lynn. That was rocking. And I just love the multidisciplinary aspects of pretty much just all of your performances. It's just so amazing.
And especially the dancers. Yeah, I believe they are students from Southern Utah University, from where Lynn teaches at. That was just a beautiful beautiful work of art. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynn, for your amazing performances, and also to all of our judges for just your presentation is just outstanding. We hope that all of our audiences enjoyed all of those performances as much as we did. And as a quick reminder, we hope you might consider making a donation to our Facebook fundraisers. Your proceeds will go directly towards our judges, and also just, the operating costs of hosting this entire competition online. We appreciate even just any amount of support that you're able to help us with. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Yeah, so right now we will be switching over to the judges interview, where they will be answering a set of questions. And right after that, the judges will be announcing the finalists. So good luck, everyone, and let's go over to the judges.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for tuning into the concert. I know I was just absolutely in love with all of our judges' performances, and I'm so excited to be getting to talk to them tonight. I have the great privilege of moderating this kind of Q&A. So first things first, if you have any questions for our judges, please drop them in the YouTube live chat, and we will do our best to answer them as they come in. But first, I want to talk to our judges. As when we think about being a performer and doing all these things, a lot of times we can kind of sometimes skip over the very beginnings. And I'm curious to know, what was it like as you're starting to right out of school, or trying to start yourself as a marimba artist or a percussionist and start that process? Naoko, do you want to get us started off with that question?
Starting out. Well, I started by teaching at Ithaca College percussion class for the education major as an assistant. So that's a great way to know how it is like to teach at the college and what the expectations are. There's an evaluation for the teacher, how well I'm teaching, and evaluation for the students. That's the grade. So if you can get any assistantship, I would highly recommend.
Awesome. And Lynn, what about you? What was it like when you were fresh out of school, or just starting off in your career? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I get asked this question quite a bit, and I think I have sort of a silly answer, but I think it's good for everyone to hear. I sort of really wasn't paying too much attention to really building my career. My focus was on just trying to do everything that was right in front of me, to the best of my ability, just trying to be amazing in the moment every day. And I joke that maybe I was just too stupid to think too far ahead or something like that. But honestly, I think it actually kind of helped me out a lot. So one of the advice that I would give, and that I often give to people, is that, yeah, sure, you need to think about your future, but really, the most important thing is to really maximize every moment and every opportunity that's put in front of you. That's what I did, at least.
Awesome. And what about you, Joe?
Yeah, so for me, a lot of it was really just based on, once I got out of school, I was fortunate enough to find a teaching job right away. That I know that doesn't happen all the time. So I was lucky in that sense. And then as my career went on, I had the opportunity of just continuing relationships and performance-wise that I had previously. I still performed with my percussion duo with Oliver Molina. And then as far as performing as a soloist or as a guest artist and things like that, I continued to do. I started with my connections that I already had. Go on tour with Oliver. Go present at this high school in this university where I know the person who teaches there, that kind of thing. And then it really just stems itself from there. But I will say that I am still probably at the beginning. This coming year will only be year 8 for me, teaching at the collegiate level. So still kind of early.
Awesome. And then, so you mentioned a lot about your connections, Joe. Do you find that, a lot of your musical opportunities come through connections, or do you kind of find like a friend that you want to collaborate with, and then find an opportunity to perform with that, or how do you kind of view that relationship?
Right. So it starts, I think, and I think this is really for most of us, it starts with connections to your peers and your colleagues that you've worked with, maybe went to school with, and those types of things. And then eventually it starts to branch off to other opportunities that come up. And, like this one, for instance, I've never worked with anyone here, but this is the first time. So that's a wonderful opportunity to build those connections. And then I'm sure along down the line, we'll have some more collaboration together.
Yeah, well, as Lynn said in her masterclass last night, you're part of the family now, whether you like it or not, Joe. So.
Right.
And, I just wanted to jump in and say that that's absolutely true, not just about the family, but what Joe said, relationships matter. I mean, I cannot tell you how many things have happened just from relationships and still happen because of relationships. And those relationships can be casual friendships that you make with colleagues, professional relationships, academic relationships, all those things. And now you guys all know us now. And so, definitely keep those connections alive and foster those relationships, because through relationships we thrive, I think.
Naoko, do you have any thoughts to add on that?
No, they said amazing things. Since I was from Japan, my English was a struggle. So, having support in any area outside of the music help, inside the music help, and also the expertise like professors, anyone who specialized on that knowledge over 10,000 hours, just get the help if you are not sure what you're doing, because I was sure when I was doing right. So
yeah, and speaking of things in other disciplines, have you found anything that has been kind of maybe adjacently related to music that you have found really have helped you? I know some performers often talk about doing yoga or meditation as being really valuable to their musical practice. Has any of you guys found success in doing something like that and finding balance between the thing that we love, music, and it also being a job, and finding hobbies and things like that?
Yeah, totally. I'm a big yoga nerd. I love yoga. I do yoga, I'm a huge fan, mindfulness practice, but I just think the balance is really important, whatever that means for you. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit, I'll sit down and watch Housewives for an hour, because for me, that's a complete relaxation. I mean, I spend so much of my life being on and being out there and being social, that for me to just sit back and watch people entertain me with crazy, schemes and all that kind of stuff I absolutely need that. Some people may think it's silly, but for me, that sort of turn off where I could just watch TV is great. So just figuring out the pie for yourself, so that you've got everything in balance, whatever that means for you, I think it's really, really important. Balance is key. But then I'm a Libra too, so, balance is everything.
Joe, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, well, I've had different hobbies. One is playing basketball. I love to do that. I actually used to do that quite a bit with my students. Just go to the gym or something and play basketball with them. Another thing is just playing with my daughter at the playground. That's one way I find balance now, and it's great. Having to pretend and kind of get back in those childlike modes is fun. So that's where I'm finding my balance right now. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to do. But if you can do that, and if you can find a balance, it's good. It's good to have something that keeps you going and keeps you motivated.
Yeah, Naoko, anything that you want to add to that?
Yes. So when I was a student and competing with the international competitions, I sometimes self-sabotage, and someone, my friend asked, "It's my birthday, please come," as an excuse to not to practice that day. But then I got really serious and I began to say no. And, I just invited her for some special day that's, if you're a good friend, she'll totally understand. So I began to just have a time limit before the competition. I really have to memorize the piece. Then, if I somehow didn't win, I may blame her on that time. So I just began to say no. So that's something you may want to think about.
I have one other thing to add with some of these things, because it's so linked with motivation, which I know is something that lots of people ask about and want to know about. And one thing that I find to be really helpful is that for me, I tend to gamify things for myself as well, because I know when we're all practicing so much, we can get a little bit in that rut of like, oh my gosh, like I have to practice and I have to do more than everybody around me. So for me, one thing that's really helpful is to kind of gamify it, so that I know that I've got like the reward system, that if I put in my solid, whatever, 3 hours or something like that, then at the end of that, I have a treat that's a reward. And so by kind of treating my life as like, rewards and games, it really helps me not like over emotionalize it and not, get overly emotionally invested in any one given moment. So if that's helpful, that's something that really works for me too.
Awesome. And so now we actually have a question from our audience. This is from Jack Steele, one of our semifinalists. When playing a piece, do you find yourself performing what the composer is trying to express, your own interpretation, or some combination?
Ooh, that's a good question. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. For me, it's usually a combination. I want to try to get across the composer's intent to my audience. But then I also want to bring something of my own to the performance or to the piece. And that might change some of the composer's intent sometimes. And I think that's okay to have a different interpretation, because we're all different human beings. And I think as much as you can make a piece of music your own is really great.
Maybe Naoko, what about you? I feel like I've kind of started talking on a bunch of them. You go.
Okay. For me, if the composer is in the audience, I totally go with the music and
Right.
I follow the dynamics as well. But it depends on the audience. So if they're little kids, then my dynamics is so much more. And if the professional musicians are in the audience, then I will try to put my soloistic, some special things in it more than the composers indicated. And don't tell them.
It's a really interesting question. Just getting into this conversation got me thinking, because my first instinct is exactly what both of my colleagues have said, which is basically kind of both, right? But then I got to thinking about it a little more, and I think that for me, and I don't know if this is true for you guys too, but for me, it's less about the composer and more about the piece. And for me, there's a distinction there. So, I tend to let the music, which of course somebody has composed, but I mean, I'm not really thinking as much. Like, for example, Joe, I hope you liked Wavelengths, but I wasn't thinking so much specifically about you as a person, as opposed to the magic of that melody and how it spoke to me and how it was articulated on the page. So for me, maybe that's composer's intent, but really I'm thinking more about what I'm hearing and feeling and what I want what I want to hear and feel from it. So I don't know, maybe that's the same, maybe that's different, but that's something that just came to mind right now.
Yeah, great point. I think it also depends on how the music is too, the type of music, and then how details are written, like moiju, or it's more like really a singable song, or depending on the music, I guess you are absolutely right. I changed that.
And another, sorry, go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
I was just going to add, as a composer, or from that side of it, I enjoy the different interpretations of my music. I enjoy seeing different groups or different people play it in very different ways. I think that keeps it interesting to me, and I like to see how it evolves or how it speaks to each individual. So yes, that's absolutely something I look for and like.
And that's, that's perfect along with what I was thinking of just now too, which was, it goes into this identity issue, right? And identity is just something that I feel so strongly about as an artist and in developing in young artists as well. No two people's experience is the same. I mean, my life and what I've experienced and what my inner world is and how I can present that, is so unique to me. And so nobody is going to sound the way that I sound on a piece, nor really should they. And that's the beauty of it, just like what Joe was saying. And so that's where, for me, the identity of who you are as a performer and what you have to say and the way you say it is also so important. So identity as an artist is huge for me as a performer.
Awesome. Well, we also have another question from another one of our semifinalists. It's so exciting. We got all these great questions. And this is one that I know that I really identify with. It's from Kao Yuan, who he asks, many musicians have stage fright or anxiety before performance. Since you have all performed numerous times, do you have advice for musicians struggling with this?
I always have tons of things to say. Anybody want to go?
I'll start this one. So for me, I find that the more I'm performing, the more comfortable I am. And I know maybe that is for everybody, but the more I'm doing stuff, the more comfortable I get. And I like being in that space with an audience. I think the tricky part recently has been the pandemic and performing to a computer or to a video camera or something like that. It's hard to really draw that connect. But as far as stage fright goes, I think doing or performing a lot, finding ways to center yourself beforehand and relax yourself, relax your nerves and things like that. And try not to hang, I guess, at least I do this, try not to make the performance or hang your career on that one performance, right? Hopefully, and many of us will have many performances, and each one is going to be different. And I some are going to be your most outstanding things. Some you may be feeling different another day. So I think just don't try to hang your entire career on one performance. I think that's always a good way to calm the nerves and this isn't going to be the last performance of whatever I'm playing. I'm going to probably play it again somewhere else or do another performance again. So.
Naoko, how about you?
Well, I have a degree in psychology, so I'm gonna say some news. So when you're nervous, you are super excited. It's same thing. So it's like you're having a first date and you get nervous and what do I do? What do I do? Do I look okay? Those things, it's same. Physiologically, it's same. So when I go on a stage, I'm so nervous that I'm married, but I have a first date. Wow, that's so cool. Just enjoy. So change that. You can really, control your brain that way. I'm just excited. It's the first time to premiere, so it's normal. And that's should make your heart rate go down.
Yeah, that's a great exercise and a great point. One of the things that I like to do with my percussion ensemble before we go on stage, and it's the same thing that I do for myself, is you stand backstage, and the fact of the matter is everybody gets nervous. It doesn't matter at what stage you are. I still get nervous for performances. I think everybody gets nervous for performance. What a professional does is what happens next. And so, you know, knowing that everybody gets nervous is one thing. And so just know that everybody gets nervous. But the thing is how do you handle it and how do you process through that from the next point? So there's a little bit of comfort in that, to know that there's another stage where you can manage that next moment, and that everybody feels that. So there's that. The second thing is that Joe alluded to, you know, what your pre-concert thing is, you know, how you calm yourself down. And I would just encourage people to try different things, because for some people, it's actually not staying calm backstage. I used to have a duo partner, Miguel Gonzalez from Mexico, and we had totally different styles backstage. You know, one of us would run around, like they really needed to get the heart rate up and sort of would do like calisthenics backstage, you know, and the other would be very like calm and zen and slow things down. And I've explored both of those, and you know, they're very, very different. So everybody needs different things, just like athletes, right? Some athletes listen to music, some don't, you know. So there's that, I would also say, as some advice. And then the third thing that I would say is trusting your preparation is really important. And how do you do that? And the way you do that is to try to not like make it so nothing's a surprise. So, you know, when I practice, and actually I think Naoko mentioned this in her masterclass, you know, she'll practice with the lights off, she'll practice putting the marimba in a different location, she'll practice looking somewhere else, you know, doing things that are gonna, visualizing the stage, you know, really making it so that nothing is ever really a surprise for you. And then you start to trust that you can get yourself out of a bind no matter what. So if something goes wrong, you can get yourself out of it. And lastly, is that for a performance to be magical is more than the combination of its parts, right? Like it's not just about playing all the right notes. You don't have to play all the right notes for it to be a meaningful performance. You don't have to have the most magical energy for it to be a meaningful performance. You know, like all those things don't have to be firing at 100% all the time, right? We are performers, and as long as we're approaching the stage honestly and purely, you know, our goal is to connect with people. And so I think that that's like a great thing to keep in mind too.
Awesome. Well, I think we have one more question from Elliot. Again, all from our semi-finalists. I'm so excited. This is all great. Building the SCM family. And so his question is, what advice would you offer performers who are struggling to pinpoint their own voice that they would like to bring out? You look so excited to do this. I feel like no one can start this question but you.
I love this question, but I feel like I'm talking a lot. So does anybody else want to like take it? So, okay. So one thing that I have a whole, so Elliot, if you want to work on finding your identity, I love doing this with people. So, you know, get in touch if you want to try to explore some of this. I like doing this with people on a more long-term basis. So first thing I would say is that you want to find a mentor that you trust, who knows you and wants to get to know you and helps what make you tick. That's one thing, to find a guide, right? The second thing is to do a lot of sort of internal work about who you are, you know, and there's a book that I would recommend. It's a great audio book. It's called Compete to Create. And it's actually by Pete Carroll, who is a football coach, and then Michael Gervais, who's a great psychologist. And one of the things I love about that is it goes about finding the whole front half of the book is really about like learning about yourself, right? And like, what is your like personal motto? What really makes you tick, you know? And there's a lot of different exercises you can do. But ask your friends, ask people you trust to help describe you, you know, and then you can start to develop that in combination with visualizing what you want to see from yourself as a player, and start coalescing those things in conversation with others, so you can start to get a little bit of a hint about what
what it is that kind of makes you unique as a player. Like, what do you do well, and what can you capitalize on, and what repertoire matches with that? But it's kind of that sort of exploration. It has to do with style, personal style. It has to do with the pieces you choose. It has to do with the mallets you choose, the sounds that you choose, and all those different things. So a combination of asking others and also writing down the things that you love, and then making an image, making a picture, making some things that are really yours. Those are some suggestions.
Right. I'll just go after that and just say, I like this question because of the fact that you're in school or you're studying with someone, and so you're used to being told what to play, or you're kind of given your identity, and for good reason. The pieces that you're playing are to develop your skill sets and things like that. But I would say venture out and explore different repertoire. If you have the opportunity to choose a jury piece or a piece for a performance or something like that, definitely go searching for different things until you kind of stumble upon what you like. I think that's important. I always let my students do that as far as the juries go, but technical things, I want to make sure they're getting certain things. So yeah, explore repertoire, explore the different types of music that you might like. Those are good ways to help you find yourself, and then just whatever type of music or I would say type, because I'm kind of a weird guy. Like I'm a composer, percussionist. I listen to hip hop and also listen to contemporary percussion ensemble and things like that. So I'm into all of those things, and so I'm kind of grabbing from everywhere until I find who I am. But that kind of makes up who I am as a performer, as a percussionist. I like lots of different styles, and I think that's okay. So in finding your own voice, it's about exploration, I think. I think that's a good word to use to kind of guide that.
We lost Eric.
Okay, so that's Elliot who asked, right? So I think he played See You Thursday in a preliminary round. And in my 20 plus years of judging experience, maybe one person made to the semifinal with that piece, but it's so rare. So I feel like all of three judges kind of know your identity. There was some middle section that was absolutely stunning and beautiful. I wish I played that way. So I have actually some repertoire suggestions, so reach out to me later. And also for everyone, when you get the feedback, you see some good part and some bad comment. And I used to hang on to the good and keep, doing that. Then those 5 years, I told you I didn't make to the final. So just to balance it out, I guess you want to reach out to some really super contemporary or something opposite from what the judges really liked you about. Then your voice began to change, and I cannot wait to see how you change.
Awesome. Well, I think those are some great questions. And I think, dare I say, we have waited long enough. I think everyone is ready to know the final rounds. But before I do let anyone say anything, I also have to make one last plug. Thank you so much for tuning in to SCM. We are so grateful for you watching this and participating, for all of our semifinalists and for all of our open round participants. We have not forgotten about you. It was absolutely great to watch everyone's submissions from it was just incredible to see all of these competitors from all across the world. And one final plug to our Facebook donation page. We are almost at, we are over, I think 54% of our goal has been met. And so we would be really grateful for anything that you're able to contribute to help make this event possible. It really is not, we can't put these things on without donors like you. And we're so grateful for everyone who has donated so far. But enough from me. I think we are ready. Joe, do you want to give the drum roll and do the announcement for the Scholastic finalists?
Yes. So the Scholastic finalists are, in no particular order, Jacqueline Guo, Rio Nitam, 𝐏𝐫𝐨𝐬𝐿, and Jonathan Yuen. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to all of our finalists. We're so proud of you. And next up, we have our open duo category, and Lynn will be revealing the finalists.
Okay, and I know I speak on behalf of everyone in the judging panel that, you know, we love so much being a part of this, but actually the hardest part is being the judge, and like we hate having to, you know, make these adjudications because it is music and it is an artistic format. And so, you know, I know we all feel that way. I mean, we saw such great music across the board. So thank you to everyone. We have 3 duos that are finalists, and these are also in no particular order. The first.
Oh no! Oh no! That was the worst possible time. Lynn, your internet cut out and we heard none of that.
What?
You're back now.
You're back now. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
That's so bizarre. I'm so sorry. Okay.
One more time.
All right. The first duo of our 3 finalists in the duo category is the Denten percussion duo, Marcus Alvarado and Megan Campbell. Our second duo in the duo category, our second finalist, is the Lynn duo, Nupur Thacker and Madeline Detloff. And our third duo is Andrew Veit and Michael Jones. Congratulations.
Awesome. And Naoko, do you want to finish us out with the collegiate finalists?
Okay, so I guess after this announcement, feedback gonna be sent. So any questions you have, you just need to, you know, until you're satisfied, keep asking questions to any judges who are in charge of. Okay, finalist, alphabetical order. Mary LeBlanc, Daniel Hollett, Nozomi Hiwatashi, Nathaniel Thomas Holman. Congratulations.
Yay! Congratulations to all of our finalists. We are so proud of you, and we cannot wait to see your performances tomorrow. We will be tuning in at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, we can't wait to see you tomorrow. So on behalf of all of us at SCM, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your evening. Bye, you guys.
Thank you for